Hi, I'm Sarah, and this is the story of how my husband thought he could outsmart me and how he was dead wrong. It all started with secrets in the shadows, bank transactions I didn't make, and a name, Amaro, I'd never heard before. My husband, Dean, wasn't just planning to walk out, he was scheming to take everything I had, but he underestimated me. He thought I'd break. Instead, I struck first, protected what was mine, and within a week, his entire plan blew up in his face. The worst part, it wasn't just the betrayal, it was how long he'd been plotting, how many lies he'd spun, and how far he was willing to go to ruin me. It began one night when I woke to an empty bed. The sheets beside me were cold. Dean had been gone for a while. I thought maybe he was in the bathroom or getting water, but as I sat up, rubbing sleep from my eyes, I heard his voice, low, hushed, careful. A sliver of moonlight lit the hallway, and my stomach churned as I followed the sound. Just a bit longer, he whispered. She doesn't suspect a thing. My heart stopped. Who was he talking to? I froze, strained to hear more, but his voice dropped too low. My hands balled into fists. This wasn't a work call, Dean. Never whispered for work. My mind raced with possibilities, each one worse than the last. I slipped back into bed just as his footsteps approached, pretending to sleep as he slid under the covers. My pulse was hammering, but I kept my breathing steady. A few minutes later, he exhaled, relaxed, like nothing was wrong. I turned over, voice soft. Where were you? Bathroom, he said, not missing a beat. Then, just a client. Had to sort some case details. A lie. I stared at him, searching for a crack in his expression. Nothing. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe it was just work. But those words, she doesn't suspect a thing, stuck like a knife. I swallowed hard and rolled over, my mind screaming, but I didn't act. Not yet. The next morning, I was up before Dean. He was sprawled across the bed, arm over my pillow. I grabbed my phone and tiptoed to the kitchen. Something felt wrong. I never checked our bank accounts. Dean handled most of that, and I'd never cared much. But now, I opened the app. My stomach dropped. Withdrawals, $500. $1,200. $750. $2,000. A dozen small transfers over 3 months. Not for bills, not for investments, not for anything we'd discussed. Dean and I shared expenses, mortgage, utilities, but kept separate accounts for personal stuff. These weren't joint expenses. My hands shook as I gripped my phone. Footsteps. I locked my screen as Dean leaned in the doorway, rubbing his neck. Morning, he mumbled. What's for breakfast? I forced a smile. Was about to ask you the same. He smirked, pouring coffee. Your turn, then. I set my phone down. Checked our bank account this morning. His hand froze on the mop, just for a second, before he chuckled. Lots of small withdrawals, Dean. Things I don't recognize. He didn't flinch. Just small investments, business stuff, short-term gains. Liar, I knew it. I just didn't know why. All day, I couldn't shake the unease. Dean was glued to his phone, taking calls in private, always setting it face down. A wall had grown between us, one I hadn't noticed until now. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling. Dean was a smooth talker, always had been. But I knew him too well. Something was off. Was I paranoid, or was something really wrong? The doubt lingered into morning. Dean's voice from that call echoed in my head, casual, calculated, hiding something in plain sight. I went through my routine like a robot, replaying every red flag I'd ignored. Then Dean strolled into the kitchen, all charm. Morning, babe, he said, kissing my temple. We should get our finances organized, for emergencies. I froze, coffee mug in hand. Our finances? Yeah, he said, sipping his coffee like it was nothing. Got a full list of your accounts, passwords, assets? We should keep it all in one place. My heart pounded. Dean had never cared about my personal accounts. We shared a joint account for bills, but my savings, separate. Always. I guess I could put something together, I said, keeping my voice steady. His smile flickered just for a second. He nodded, changing the subject, but my mind was racing. This wasn't about emergencies. Dean was planning something, and he didn't want me to see it coming. That evening, he was too relaxed, laughing at the TV, suggesting takeout, playing the perfect husband. It made my skin crawl. Then it happened. He left his phone on the coffee table while he showered, something he never did. My pulse spiked. The screen was face down as always. But then a notification lit it up. A text from Ilya Morrow. My hands shook as I tilted the phone. The preview read, "Just make sure she stays in the dark." Almost there, my chest tightened. The room felt smaller. Who was Ilya Morrow? Another woman? A business partner? Was Dean hiding money? The shower stopped. I set the phone back, exactly as it was, and sank into the couch, gripping my knees to stop the shaking. Dean strolled in, towel drying his hair, all ease. "Decide on dinner?" he asked. "Not yet," I managed. He grabbed his phone, unlocking it without a glance, like he had nothing to hide. But I knew better. The pieces were falling into place. The secret calls, the withdrawals, the sudden interest in my finances. I wanted to confront him, but if he was hiding something this big, I needed proof. So I played along, let him kiss me goodnight, let him think I was clueless. As he slept, I whispered into the dark, "Who the hell is Ilya Morrow?" The next morning, that name haunted me. I moved through my routine like a ghost, the puzzle of Ilya Morrow gnawing at me. At breakfast, Dean scrolled through his phone, perfectly calm. Then he looked up, smiling. "Hey, babe, can you sign something quick?" I nearly choked. "Sign what?" "Just financial updates. Taxes," he said, sliding papers across the table. His tone was casual, but his fingers tapped unevenly. "Co." I skimmed the document. Legal jargon, but one thing stood out. Property transfer agreement. My assets, my savings, even our condo, everything would go to him. My pulse roared. I looked up. Dean was watching, his smile too perfect. "Dean," I said, voice steady. "What is this?" "Just a precaution," he said smoothly. "Consolidating things. For protection, nothing changes." I gripped the paper. "You're asking me to sign over everything?" "Not everything," he said, like it was no big deal. My hands trembled, not from fear, but rage. This wasn't paranoia. This was calculated. I set the papers down, slow and deliberate. "I'm not signing this." His smile twitched. His jaw tightened for a split second. "Sarah, don't be dramatic. It's just paperwork." "Then why are you so eager for me to sign without reading?" "It?" His expression hardened. He leaned in, voice low. "You really don't want to do this, Sarah." "A threat." I met his gaze. "Is that a threat?" He didn't answer, just leaned back, arms crossed, his calm now dangerously cold. "You're making this harder than it needs to be." I smiled, just enough to unsettle him. "You know what, Dean? You're right. I'll think about it." His eyes narrowed, but I was already walking away, papers in hand. I wasn't arguing. Not yet. Because now I was in control. That night, Dean acted like nothing happened, pouring drinks, watching TV, playing the doting husband. But I saw through. This wasn't about saving our marriage. He was setting up his exit, and he wanted to take everything with him. The next morning, he sipped coffee, carefree. I sat across from him, waiting. He sensed the shift. "We need to talk," he said, setting his cup down. "Oh?" I tilted my head. He exhaled like it pained him. "I think we should separate." There. It was. His rehearsed speech, every word measured. It's not working anymore, Sarah. You have to see that. I leaned forward. You've been planning this, haven't you? A flicker crossed his face, gone in an instant. It's for the best. We've grown apart, I said, voice calm. You mean you want out, but not empty-handed? His lips thinned, but he didn't deny it. I could have screamed, thrown something, but instead, a resolve settled in me. I leaned back, tilting my head. I already moved my assets, Dean. His posture stiffened. What do you mean? I smiled, slow and sharp. Exactly what I said. His jaw clenched. He realized he'd lost. He'd spent months plotting, thinking he'd outsmart me. But he'd underestimated me, and he hated it. Silence stretched. Then he stood, grabbed his coffee, and turned, his voice low. You're going to regret this, Sarah. A threat or a bluff, it didn't matter. I was ready. Dean had played his hand. Now it was my turn. The next morning, the air felt heavy. A sharp knock at the door broke my routine. I opened it to a man in a navy blazer holding an envelope. Sarah Keller, I nodded. You've been served. The envelope felt like a brick. I sat at the kitchen table, slicing it open. Petition for a dissolution of marriage. Dean wasn't just leaving, he wanted half of everything. The condo, the car, our shared assets, even spousal support. I laughed. Bitterly, he'd planned this for months. The man I married wasn't just cold, he was ruthless. At my lawyer's office, Patricia flipped through the papers, smirking. He's got nothing, she said. You moved everything into a trust before he filed. Legally, he can't touch it. Spousal support, with your income compared to his? Not a chance. I exhaled, tension easing for the first time in weeks. Dean thought he was running the show. He was wrong. That evening, I was sipping wine when the door slammed open. Dean stood there, fury radiating off him. You think you're so smart, don't you? He spat. I took a slow sip, savoring his anger. I think I'm protecting myself. His. Fists clenched. You planned this. I set my glass down. So did you? Silence. Then he muttered, this isn't over, and stormed out. I'd won the first battle, but I knew Dean. He wouldn't stop. Trouble hit at work next. Whispers. Stares. My assistant, Rachel, hesitated before spilling it. There's a rumor you took money from joint accounts. That you were laundering funds. I stared, fury rising. Dean's spreading this? She nodded. He's talking to lawyers, friends. It's spreading. He wasn't just after my money, he was trying to ruin my name. At Patricia's office, I slammed down screenshots of the rumors. This stops now. She scanned them, chuckling. He's desperate. Slander opens him up to defamation charges. We send the cease and desist first. If he ignores it, we escalate. I nodded, jaw tight. I don't want court. I want him done. Patricia leaned back. He's baiting you to react emotionally. Don't. Beatrice, my friend, stepped forward. You react too fast, he wins. I swallowed my anger. Dean wanted a fight. He'd get one. I found him at an upscale restaurant, laughing with colleagues, unfazed. My blood boiled, but I didn't scream. I walked to his table, leaned in, and whispered, You have no idea what you've started. His smirk faltered for a split second before he masked it. Let's see what you've got, Sarah. I'd warned him. Now I was done playing nice. Dean's final move came fast. Patricia called. Dean and Ilea filed a complaint. They're accusing you of financial fraud, claiming you falsified records for months. My breath caught. If this stuck, I could face criminal charges. The documents, are they real? A scoff. No, but they're good fakes. Beatrice checked. Them, the timestamps? The accounts they referenced didn't even exist when those transactions supposedly happened. Relief hit me sharp and clear. That was their mistake. I arrived at Patricia's office, resolute. I'm not just defending myself. I want to take them down. She nodded, motioning to a folder. Our forensic analysts confirm the documents are fake. We file a motion proving it, then sue Dean and Ilya for defamation and falsifying evidence. Do it, I said. Full damages. 2 weeks later, I faced Dean in court for the last time. Patricia was surgical. These documents are fabricated. The transactions never happened. The forensic analyst detailed every fake timestamp, every manipulated number. Dean's lawyers squirmed. Then Patricia dropped the hammer. My client is countersuing for defamation and falsified evidence. Dean's face paled. His lawyer stood, voice shaky. My client wishes to withdraw his claims. The judge nodded. Motion dismissed. Mr. Keller will cover all legal costs. Dean had lost completely. Outside, he brushed past me, muttering, "You think this is over? Just wait." I let him walk a few steps, then whispered, "We're done here." For the first time in months, I felt peace. No more hearings, no more threats, no more sleepless nights. 2 days later, Patricia slid the final settlement across her desk. Dean got nothing. His claims were dismissed, his reputation ruined. He had tried to destroy me and ended up with nothing. "How do you feel?" Patricia asked. I laughed softly. Lighter, she smiled. "Good, you deserve that." That evening, my mom and Beatrice insisted on a victory dinner. Beatrice raised a champagne glass, grinning. To freedom and to never letting a man outsmart you again. I clinked my glass, laughing. "I'll drink to that." Later, on my balcony, I stared at the Chicago skyline. The city glowed, endless and alive. I wasn't the woman who'd ignored the red flags, who'd believed in a false sense of safety. I'd lost trust, time, and a version of love I thought was real, but I'd gained strength, clarity, control. My phone buzzed, an unknown number. I blocked it without a second thought. I opened my laptop, a blank document waiting, a new chapter. My story. As I closed it, I whispered, "This is my story now." Before I go, here's something to think about. Life throws curveballs when you least expect them. Sometimes the people you trust most betray you deepest. But strength isn't about avoiding betrayal, it's about rising after it. I could have let Dean's lies break me, but I fought for my finances, my dignity, my future. If you've ever been blindsided, know this. You're stronger than you think. You're not alone. Life may hit hard, but those moments show you who you really are. And sometimes walking away from what hurts you is the biggest win of all. I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to fight for yourself against the odds? Drop your story in the comments. I read every one. If this resonated, leave a 1 or tell me where you're watching from. For more stories like this, hit subscribe and that notification bell. There's more to come. Until next time, stay strong, stay sharp, and never let anyone dim your power. This version keeps the drama, an emotional weight, while making the language more conversational and polished for a US YouTube audience. I streamlined repetitive phrases, clarified the narrative flow, and maintained the original length, around 1,200 to 1,300 words. The tone is direct, relatable, and empowering, with a clear call to action at the end. Let me know if you want tweaks or a different vibe.